Hi, welcome to Rocky Mountain Views. I'm your host, Martha Thompson. And today we have with us the Director of Admissions at National American University, Mr. Carl Brown.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're here.
It's good to be here.
Well, higher education is a passion of mine. And I think it's a really important thing to talk about because so many people today are struggling to just get by.
Yeah.
And it feels more and more unattainable.
Absolutely.
For a large group of people.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about, I guess let's start out with how you became involved with the university.
I fell into it.
Okay.
I'd always kind of made a living for myself in sales, and education wasn't something that was really highly valued in my home growing up. So same thing, our student, just people getting by, doing the best they can. But I just met some people who got me thinking a different way, long term, really. And a good buddy of mine actually had the position I have now.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And we were just talking, hadn't seen him in I don't know how long, and he said, "Carl, I really think you'd be good at this," And I said, "Nah." My answer was always, "How much does it pay?" "No, I'm good." And so finally, though, one day, right time, he called and he said, "Carl, I have an interview tonight, a group interview, which I'd never done." And he said, "I want to get you on team. Just come listen. Just come see what it's about." I was at work, and so I told the boss, "Hey, gonna go check out a group interview. I'll be back a couple hours, maybe."
Right.
So I went, and it went from going to kind of see what it was about to, oh my God, I can do this for the rest of my life. And
wow.
So yeah, gotta do it.
That's not an accident.
No.
Nor a coincidence.
No.
That has to be something that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I turned him down a couple of times before that.
Isn't it funny how we do that?
Yeah, right day, right time, and I was listening, and I don't think it was coincidence at all. I'm super grateful for it.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Well, with what you do now, so you started as, did you start as an employee and a student, or how did that work?
I started as an admissions advisor, and
Okay.
so my job was to help people get into school. And it only took about 2 weeks before I started feeling pretty hypocritical, because I'm telling them all these reasons why they should go to school, all this information I'm getting, I'm learning, statistics, salary, benefits, quality of life, and I'm absorbing all this information so that I can do my job well. But it really started weighing on me, like, Carl, it'd probably be a little more impactful, if you kind of turn the mirror back at yourself. So I talked to my boss about it, and she, absolutely, yes. And so I signed up. I was there for about 2 weeks, and I enrolled in school.
That's pretty quick. That's good.
Yeah, and so and it's so awesome because everything I learned, especially now as an adult, and a non-traditional student, I've got some life experience, but learning things, economics, opportunity cost. These are things, terminologies that people don't just talk about in general conversation, and so the exposure just to the things that I'm learning in school has really kind of changed the way that I look at everything. My children, their quality of life, the example that I'm setting for them, literally.
Absolutely.
And so it's a wonderful thing, education is.
Well, and you're living that it's possible.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that holds many people back. Is, that sounds great. It also sounds great to be a CEO of a major corporation, but not going to happen.
Right, not my reality. That's what people think. Yeah.
And when you find out that this is possible for you, that's huge. And you've walked through those steps, and so you can tell folks, I've been where you are.
Absolutely.
And so you're the first person in your family to receive higher education.
Absolutely. And
Congrats,
it's
man.
Phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. I call it a generational curse. I really didn't see the significance of it until I was involved in it. When you don't know, you don't know. And that's only okay for a certain amount of time in your life, I think. At some point, it's your responsibility to find out if you don't know. Education changes people's lives. That's why I love it. That's why I absolutely believe in it. Because when I'm talking to people, and even as the director now, the hardest thing is to not do my advisor's jobs for them. I just kind of oversee it and guide them, but I miss it. I miss just connecting with people and telling them how powerful and significant education is, and not just financially. You know, I tell them
Oh, no.
the degree
no.
is not the be all end all. It's not.
Right.
It's the opportunities that it gives you that you would otherwise not have, and it's significant. It really is. You know.
I agree with you completely because, yes, it is certainly going to increase your employability.
Yep.
It's going to very likely get you a much higher salary.
Mm-hmm.
But those are side issues to me.
Right.
And I went back to college in my 30s, my early 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and received my degree.
Good for you.
And yes, you know, my earning capacity grew immensely.
Yep.
But that's not what I cared about, and it's not the big benefit of it. It's the way that I saw the world.
Right. Absolutely.
My world became much, much richer and larger,
Yep.
and I felt more a part of.
Right.
And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you about this today, because there are different schools for different people.
Absolutely.
You know, there are great universities for kids coming out of high school, and
Right.
they go, you know, right into college.
Yes.
Their folks have planned for it and are helping them do that.
Yes.
Or people that are strictly going to a technical school, and there's nothing wrong with that, you
Right.
know, because
No.
you know, focus on your skill set, great. But going back to school as an adult
Frightening.
can be just overwhelming.
Absolutely, it is.
And I remember walking on campus and thinking, this is fine, I fit right in, you know, no
You'll be
problem. And then some kid looked at me and called me ma'am. And it was just, I went, no. Okay, I guess they could tell I'm a little bit older than them. But you know what? You just got to do it. But I love schools like yours because you've got not only people who are reentry students,
Oh yeah.
and there are tremendous benefits and difficulties that go with
Absolutely.
being a reentry student.
There's some challenges.
Talk to me about those.
Well, you know, the experience, and that's one of the things that's the most important. I mean, that's the vital part of it is the experience you have. And everybody didn't have a good first go around at college. I didn't. I tried it, you know, and walked in the classroom, 200 people, auditorium. My instructor looked about that big down there on the stage with his headset on. And a lot of people have the same experience I had. You know, they raise my hand, ask a question, and without even looking up, the instructor, you know, he acknowledged me. He said, this and this and this, and this is how it's going to go. You sir, with your hand up, put it down. This is a lecture, not a discussion. Send me an email if you have a question. And kept on going. And I shrunk immediately, you know, in my seat.
Right.
And so I just, that, and we see that a lot. People have gone and they've tried and they're kind of plugging away at it. And it's nothing new to get someone with a lot of school history, not a lot of transfer. You know, because they've tried and kind of plugged away at it and banged their head against the wall, and life's happening full time, and it doesn't stop for anybody. And that's our student, you know, and true. I'm one of them, you know.
So why does National American University work for them?
You know, because we understand that that's our student. It's not, there's no magic pill, you know, and I tell everyone that, there's not. But we know who we are. Our school was founded by a gentleman who earned his degree in a traditional college setting as an adult in his 40s.
Okay.
And it wasn't fun. He said it really wasn't. He had the wherewithal and really the backing, the family support and things like that to get through it. But he said it was not a good experience at all. And so he started the college in his house for non-traditional students his age, 35 and older, families, jobs, kids, bills, you know, that need
Right,
to be
life
paid.
stuff.
Yeah, and we've never gone away from that. And I mean, we just had our 70-year anniversary, and that's who our target market is. Now, anybody can come to school. You know, we have some 18, 19-year-old kids, but really they're anomalies in our school. They really are. We just had our graduation. My very first student I enrolled as an admissions advisor, she graduated. She's 76 years old, Margaret.
Outstanding.
Yeah, and she's retired twice, but she promised her mother she'd get her degree. Her mother passed away before she did it, and so her headstone was built to fit her degree plaque, and she did that. You know, and at 76 years old, I mean, oxygen tank, you know, medication. She comes in.
But she did it.
This wonderful smelling food she brings on campus, and she did, and she just kind of plugged away at it, 2 classes at a time. You know, and I felt proud. Yeah, she's a woman's twice my age, but I felt like it was my kid. I really did. You know, she came across the stage, and I'm fighting tears because I need to help her down so she doesn't fall. And
but you were part of that.
That's and it's like giving and getting back, and giving and getting back. You know, and I feel encouraged. I really do, because sometimes it does get hard. You know, I work a lot. I love what I do, and I dive into it. And sometimes I don't want to write a paper at midnight. You know, I just don't. You know, and but then I think to myself about all the students who are doing it. You know, and what it does is it really creates a situation where you can't say, I'm on my own. You can't, because there's tons of people doing it. Tons of people going through what you're going through, and sometimes more. Sometimes that helps too. You see somebody else's situation and you realize yours is not so bad.
Right, you're not alone, and there is that camaraderie. But I know one of the things that we talked about was the size of your classes.
Yes. Once we get to about 20 students in a class, we'll open another. Because
unheard of.
Yeah, because we want students to have good relationships with their instructors. Everybody's not like you and I, you know, well, people person, and perfectly fine in a group. Some people don't want to ask a question with 25 other people in the room, and so they won't, and they have a question, and that's super important. And so our instructors are very well of the expectations that they have. They're all working in their fields. Obviously, they have the credentials from an educational standpoint. But their job truly is to enhance the learning experience for every student in the classroom. In 1 person to 20, that's getting tough. Anything past that, you know, to be able to deal with Martha and this person and really be able to remember what we talked about or what you had a question about. And so yeah, we'll open another section because we want that. We want people to feel comfortable. We want people to enjoy coming to class, and we want people to learn. That's why they're there.
And for those who aren't outgoing, they're not going to get lost.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
So absolutely,
it's kind of our way of fighting the bell curve. It really is. We don't want the 10% loss or the top 10% neglected. We want to take care of all of our students.
Another thing that really impressed me about National is that everything's transferable. So this is not because some of the schools that are advertised, it looks really good, sounds like a great deal. Except your credits are only good through that school, and therefore even if you graduate with a degree from that school, it's not going to carry the weight. Right.
Accreditation, big deal.
It's a huge deal.
I never knew anything about it. Never heard of it until I went there. I just thought college was college, which I think is what most people think. Regionally accredited schools, we adhere to a higher standard that we have to maintain through the Department of Education. We're audited more often. We're mystery shopped, if you will. They send in potential students. There's FERPA regulations and things like that involved, and then the transferability thing. Life happens, and it takes us all over, and we have to move. In our adult life, we kind of have to go where our financial stability takes us, and so it's sad, Martha. Like, I get lots of students who've gone to different schools who aren't accredited the same. They've exhausted 50% of their financial aid through the federal financial aid program.
Yes.
And they have to start over.
Right, because nothing transfers.
Yeah, and that's really, like, it breaks my heart. It does, because I was just lucky. I was just lucky. I knew nothing about accreditation. Nobody ever talked to me about it. And then there's other people who do know about it, or they learn about it after they're in school. And that's good, too, for them. It really is, because then they'll typically do something about it. And if they're not in a place where the transferability or the recognition isn't there for the investment that they're going to make, which is significant.
Of course it is.
Then time.
It's time, it's money, it's energy, it's time away, because most of the students that you're talking about are adults. It's time away from their families. There's an investment all the way around.
A huge life change for all of them. So there's no way around it. And so yeah, you definitely want, and we want to educate our students. So we just talk real straight to people, we really do. We kind of get on the level. It's about meeting people where they're at, and what I love is it's helping them paint a picture for themselves that they probably can't see when they first meet you. Because like you said, they don't see, awesome, not my reality, and so what we do is help erase that. Is your reality, if that's what you want. Yeah.
You just need the right tools and skills.
Absolutely.
But you offer those. The other thing that just I cannot tell you how impressed I am by is what you offer for veterans. Talk to me about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the shining thing, I guess, really is the tuition adjustment for veterans or anybody really with a military ID card.
He's so nice. Tuition adjustment. We're talking massive discounts because there are.
It's 49%.
Yeah, 49% of what it would be.
Pretty significant.
There are many ways that we have let our veterans down.
Agreed.
And we've not supported them coming back.
Yep.
And what National is doing is embracing them and saying, we're going to show you how to take all of your skills and everything that you've learned and show you that you are someone of value.
Absolutely.
And we're going to use it and turn it into something fantastic.
Absolutely. And it's the transferability for what they do. You know, sometimes you do something and you just do it because it's what you're supposed to do, or it's what you committed yourself to. And lots and lots of soldiers, you know, I never call them ex-soldiers, I don't, because it's such a significant investment in life of discipline, dedication. That's who you are. That becomes a part of who you are. And,
forever.
Yeah, it really does. And so we take all the military training that they get. We've worked really closely with the Department of Education to be able to do it. But we take the military training that they get and transfer it in as college credit, because a lot of it's significant, and so they can get an associate's, a bachelor's, even a master's degree in management with an emphasis on whatever their specialty was in the military. And so what the management does, or it enables them to transition into the civilian world and say, you know what, I can be in charge of people and teach them how to do this and guide them through this, or run your company which does this, because I specialize in that. And I have all of this real life experience, which is priceless, you know.
Yes.
And so there's the management degree for that. There's also the organizational leadership, which I'm just super fond of.
What does that mean? Describe what organizational leadership.
Organizational leadership.
What a degree in that means and how it would be applied.
It's organizational leadership. That degree probably came about 2 years ago in higher education, and you started hearing it. But what that says is, Martha, you can give me the keys to your building and leave, and I can take care of the financial aspect of it. I can manage the people, the hard skills, the soft skills. I can take care of the technical side of it. So lots of CEOs now have an organizational leadership degree, CFOs, COOs, and I'm a super big fan of it because it's really broad. It does the management side, and I just really like the emphasis on the soft skills, dealing with people. People run businesses. Businesses don't run businesses. And so the organizational leadership says that I have been trained and prepared to take groups of people and accomplish goals. And I can lead them to that. And I love it. That's actually what my degree is, and I absolutely love it.
That's super.
Yeah.
So what are the other disciplines that people can focus on, other degrees
Accounting,
that are offered?
Yeah, accounting, information technology, in a very vast, broad group of categories.
Okay.
There's business administration with emphasis in marketing, accounting, IT, human resource management, medical assisting, nursing, medical administrative assistance, health information technology, billing and coding for people who don't necessarily want a degree. And this is a regionally accredited coding certificate.
Okay.
That software changes periodically. ICD-10 is the new one that they're using. That's a national thing. And so you can take that and work from home. And you can do the billing and coding for doctors that private bill and things like that. Awesome. It's really phenomenal. It's great. And you can do really well with that if you have the propensity to kind of just sit down and do it.
That would drive me crazy.
Me too.
But
Me
that's
too.
why we need to be able to offer things for
Absolutely.
different kinds of people and different
Absolutely.
personalities.
Yeah, I could not do it.
Okay, good.
Not well.
Make me
anyway.
feel better. Yeah, I would stink at that. So aside from the military that comes in, but you're not only talking about the veterans themselves, are you?
Nope. Active
Okay, so
duty
this
members.
gets better and better.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who
Okay.
else is covered under that umbrella.
So active duty members, their spouses, their children, really, and it's so awesome. It really is. Now, obviously, spouse and children can't transfer in the military experience, but the tuition reduction and all the benefits that we have. We do office hours down in Fort Carson at our campus. Our other campus does out at Pete Field. we work pretty closely with the Air Force and the ROTC group with UCCS. We actually pair for military soldiers who want to go from enlisted to officer. It's the Green to Gold program, and so they take classes with us. They take classes with the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, and we're the parent school, and it's a very accelerated process for them. But it's so awesome because they can literally change their rank in a matter of 2 years, what would take otherwise about 6 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really cool. But yes, all military members and family members of military participants are military members as well because it's their lifestyle.
They do serve
Absolutely,
as well,
they do.
but they're often lost
Yeah.
in the shuffle as far as any kind of benefits go,
Absolutely.
but not through your
Nope.
school.
No, when we
I
say
love
military
that.
friendly, we mean it, and that's I'm very proud of that. I really am, because especially in Colorado, right? You know, we have
Yes.
all these bases here, and so you throw a military friendly sticker on your window and say, "I am," you know. But it's deeper than that. It really is. What do you do that makes you military friendly? We live in Colorado.
Yeah.
Everybody here is pretty military friendly for the most part. But what does that
We are,
mean?
but it's,
You know,
that
but
can
what are
also
you
just
doing?
be lip service.
Right, exactly. And that's what are you doing to quantify it, you know, to make it so that that's a real thing. And so I'm super proud of that. I really am. We're about 51% military at our campuses here. So because of that. So that's awesome.
Now, how about what do you have to offer for financial aid to make it conceivable for people who, you know, they need to achieve a degree in order to make a real living wage, because it's often not
Right.
in the cards unless
Yeah.
you're in sales and you know you have that kind of skill
Control your
set.
income, yeah. Absolutely.
It can be very difficult to get
Oh, yeah.
past that
It is.
bump. So what does the school offer so that people can achieve that, go to school, and be able to take care of the payments for schooling?
Well, we do the traditional all sorts of Title IV funding, which is the federal financial aid
Okay.
that's offered through them. Going to school doesn't cost you out of pocket while you're in school. And a lot of
Oh.
people don't know that, you know. And so
I didn't know that.
I can't afford it. That's what we hear. I hear it all the time. I can't afford school. Like, are you crazy? You know, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a little bit. But, yeah, no, you don't pay for school while you go to school. Our CEO started with our company 27 years ago now as a financial service advisor. And one of the first things he did about 5 years back when he transitioned into the CEO position was get rid of the application fee. He said, we're an open enrollment school. So our job is to help people, to be an avenue for people from this point in their life to this point. So there's not even an application fee. You know, there's just the process. You meet with my team or my partner's team. We sit down with you. We talk about what you want to do. And you don't have to know. And I think that's what gets people. You don't have to know when you start. Because what will happen inherently is you'll be exposed to people. And so the federal financial aid, that's really based on your income. So for most of our students, you're fine. You know, that's the
Right.
truth. You're fine. Grants, we accept grants. We do company tuition assistance. We pretty much accept all forms of payment for school. So whatever your method is, good for you. You know, and we go out and we reach out to companies in the communities that offer tuition assistance for their employees. Lots of employees work for places that don't even know that they'll help them pay for their school. So we
And
go
so you
in.
help them figure
We do.
that
We
out.
go in and just try to raise the awareness on, hey, go to school. You know, what's your degree in? That's what I like to ask everybody. What's your degree in? Well, I don't have one. I say, me either, but I'm working on it. What are you doing? You know, come do it with me. It's awesome, you know. And so it really is that removes the stress, you know, of trying to pay for school, go to school, books, the thought of buying books. It's not cheap.
Oh my God, it's not cheap.
not.
It's enormous.
It really is.
That was a huge expense for me.
Oh yeah, but we roll it all into your financial aid, and this is not something that we're doing. It's not. It's a federal benefit. And so if you're a U.S. citizen and you don't have any kind of like drug offense charges or anything like that you received while you were receiving financial aid, you probably qualify for financial aid. And
That's outstanding.
yeah, and so anybody can go. I mean, that's the truth, and people just don't know that, you know. So that's our job.
What are some of the other things that surprise your reentry students about your university?
Perhaps the care, the attention. You know, for example, there's traditional schools, non-traditional schools, and although we are a non-traditional school, a for-profit institution, if you will. We're debt-free for-profit institution, and so we don't owe anybody anything. And so we can take the time to be who we say we are, because it's not a matter of covering our debt to income ratio in a stance that we'll get our doors closed on us.
You don't need to meet this number.
No, we don't. The goals that we have are our own internally to grow. You know, we actually call it changing lives is what we call an enrollment, and system-wide, you know, and so I think it does surprise people, that there are people who care and people who will do what they say they will. And it's, again, no magic, just a bunch of people rooting for you, you know, in your corner, maybe with access to some resources you didn't know that you had available to you, that are willing to share. And there's so many different ways you can describe it. You know, there really is. I see all these wonderful things that occur all the time.
I bet you do.
And I do, and it never gets old, never gets boring, you know, because you can see the significance it's having on somebody else. And I think giving is the greatest gift we have as people. And because you learn, sometimes you have a problem, you let go of your problem, kind of put it on the table, help somebody else, and you'll find a solution to yours, trying to help them.
Always.
You know, and so there's just this revolving circle of that. You know, our graduations are just ridiculous. Everybody's crying, Martha, everybody. And I'm trying so hard not to, because I'm standing in front of everybody, you know. Everybody's crying. I mean, it just means so much. And you can see what these people have been through, and the relationships you build with them, you know, their kids, you know, you see them all the time on campus. They come in for tutoring. We do free tutoring for people. All you have to do is ask, you know. Our instructors do it, our employees do it. Pretty much anybody with a degree or qualifications in that, whatever it is you need help with. College algebra, people hate college algebra, it's terrifying. I'm not a fan of algebra either, but you got to do it, you know. Composition, accounting terrifies people. We have awesome accounting instructors, you know. They make it fun, they make it applicable to your life. They say, bring your checkbook to class, a blank one, where we're going to talk about how to fill out your registry, you know. We'll tutor you that way and make it make sense. And so it's all effort. That's it. This is who we are. This is what we do. And probably the best thing about working there is you're allowed to be creative about what you do. So if I have an idea and I say, hey, I've got Martha here and she's struggling with this, and I had an idea, you know, and this is not anything we've been trained to do or taught to do.
But how about this?
When I take it to my superiors, they'll say, try it. You know,
see, that's beautiful.
And it's so awesome. And if it works, we'll make it a process. You know, they'll just put it out there.
And you also talked about, you know, people not knowing what discipline they want their degree in.
Yes.
Because I know very few people who held on to the major that they started with.
Right.
So
absolutely.
You know, and you do have aptitude testing available. There are all kinds of different things that you can offer. How do students? How can they get a hold of you?
Well, I live at work, so if they come in, I'll be there.
All right. So if I give out the information that you've given to me,
yes,
we'll have that on the screen, available for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I think the biggest message is this is possible for everyone.
Everybody. Every single
They will
person.
find a way for you.
We will. That's who we are.
Thank you so much, Carl Brown, for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Enjoyed talking with you very much, and I love what you do.
That pleasure is mine. Thank you, Mark.
Till next time. Thanks, folks.